This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Don't love me for fun, girl. Let me be the one, girl. Love me for a reason. Let the reason be love. You wonder how many boy bands, I'm from a small town. It's called Dublin, right? I'm joining a band called Boys On, right? I'm Mikey Graham now all of a sudden, right? I'm from a small town called Dublin. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be doing all the jobs all my mates are doing, right? I want everyone to be looking at me. I want everyone to love me. I'm going to be a singer, right? Like, just, how fortunate, can you believe it, that I'm here, that I can do the equivalent thing. I didn't have to join Boyzone to do this. It's the same muscle. It's the same desire to be loved, okay? And yet I get to sit here in my car recording a podcast. I got to do it that way. That's unfathomable. Imagine you said to Mikey Graham, Mikey, you don't have to do this, bro. Wait 20 years, right? 30 actually. And you will be able to just sit in your car and record like a podcast from there instead and talk about all the stuff you're interested in. You know? He'd be like, what? Are you messing? Oh, wouldn't have to go to the heartbreak of being the best singer in the band and having a Ronan Keaton, the cute one, be put front and centre, even though I could sing him under the fucking table. Even though I could sing him under the fucking table, to be honest with you. It's my impression of Mikey Graham. I hope he does. It's a quote from Fatal Deviation. You just feel, everyone, yeah, whatever. I've talked about this. Just, I could have been a streamer. I could have been a Fortnite streamer. Now I'm a fucking singer in a band. Ah, son, I missed a boat in Euro lot, I could have been a FIFA Ultimate Team pack opening streamer, but to become a singer or something. I was after the attention as well, but let the reason be love. I don't believe there's a one. Call me corny. I don't believe there's a one. I don't believe there's a one, by the way. The one for me. Very fucking, I believe there's one person in this world for me, and they're sitting right over there. Isn't that very convenient now? She lived down the road in Whitehall, and you were in Whitehall as well. Isn't that very convenient? It isn't perhaps the best of a bad situation that you've told yourself now, this is the one, my one true love. That's like, America's the greatest country in the world. I have now, what is a passport? America's the greatest country in the world. I don't know what a passport is. I don't want one. I don't want it. All I know is that Obama doesn't have one. What am I talking about? I don't know. It's a new energy here in the Opal Insignia. If I could just get your Opal Insignia there. Your John Hancock. And if I could just get your John Hancock down there. Sorry, excuse me? Sorry, what? Sorry, I need to go to HR. Before I even sign this contract, I need to go to HR before I join this firm. Sorry, excuse me. I came in here for a role as assistant fucking legal counsel, right? And your man over there asked if we could go to the John, and he put his hand on my cock. And this is before I even signed anything. I'm in my Opal Insignia now. As you know, the key asshole is gone, baby. It's gone. Gone, girl. It's gone. Okay? It's in some garage in Carlow. And I feel bad. What a drain I am on people. What a drain I am on people's resources. That my car breaks down. They drop it over to some garage in Carlow. And then I'm calling this guy all the time. I'm like, here, can you send back the stuff that was in the I don't want to say glove box, okay? Because I'm not a Yankee Doodle dickhead, okay? With the great respect to my American listener base, right? 6 years, right? Not having a go. Whatever it is, the glove box, the glove compartment. Fuck all gloves in there. Do you think if I had good gloves, I'd be leaving them in there? I'd be wearing them everywhere. I'd be having duels with people non-stop with my thinsulate gloves that I picked up in fucking Spar. I challenge you to a duel. Now I'm going to gently, kind of caress your nose with this wool glove, which will mean I want to kill you. I'll be having duels all over the place. Driving gloves. People wear their fucking driving gloves. I think that's a buzz to get into. Remember, a mate of mine, she met this guy on a Tinder date and then bumped into her ex-boyfriend, and she was mortified, not because they bumped in, but because the guy she was on a date with shook the ex's hand with a gloved hand. It was a gloved hand. And she was like, that is an absolute ick. That's disgusting. And I was like, whoa. If that for me, a gobda, would be a status play. If I had to shake the hand of the new fella, sticking it to my ex-girl, oh my God. There's a scene in the new season of The Bear where Josh Hartnett, of course, plays the love interest that Eben Moss Bacharach, Richie from The Bear. He's the guy you should be jealous of, He's moved in with his ex-Tiff and is, spending most of the time with his daughter. They have like a big, brownstone, gorgeous flat. And Josh Hartnett comes out and his nails are painted. They've been painted by the daughter, and it's not alluded to. He's just there with his painted nails, and I'm like, oh fuck me, it would kill me. It would kill me to have another man's hand painted. Might happen though. Do you know what I mean? Now, just could happen, and I hope he's good to my kids. Really hope it doesn't. Obviously, just don't want this to date bad. Like me, back on the scene after the divorce. Singing fucking Boyzone at women. Love me for a reason, let the reason be love. I just want to tell you, baby, I've had a lot of bad dates, and some of them have been loving me for fun. Then an instrumental starts playing. She's like, what the fuck's going on here? Da na 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 na. So if I'm falling in love, na 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 na, oh, let the reason be love, and I fuck it up after say it really fast. Let the reason be love. You hold me. Do you know this song? Anyway. It's more than physical attraction. My initial reaction is, you fan of Boyzone? Look, I'm sorry. Thank you for your understanding, Ori. The fucking state of this pod. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit pooped right now. A little bit pooped. We've had a slew of illnesses in the house, and I wasn't even here last week for the fucking the man flu that I had. It was awful. I was groaning. I was rolling around with a fever, groaning. And look, when you get to my age, son, and you have kids, you get a good bedside manner. Of course, you're looked after. It's great. Wonderful. How wonderful it is to have a family. You get looked after. But having to almost like break the news, like I'm calling sick to my wife, No, I'm sorry, I just don't really feel something I can't really, I'm not feeling up for her right now. And she's giving me the kind of, oh yeah? Okay. So, and she wants in the same way, you're 17 and you call in sick and you're just like, oh, I don't know, like, just not feeling very well, And the fucking assistant manager, top man, is like, okay, so what, you're out, are you? Yeah. I remember calling sick one time, and don't know what was fucking wrong with me. This is me on the fucking peak of the emotional quadrant of that Myers-Briggs or whatever it is, Need everyone sound with me, right? So, called in sick. Said, No, I can't even tell. I basically said I was sick and used someone else's incredible tragedy as my own, as a proxy to say that I was there for someone when I was like 17, incredible tragedy they were going through, and I said that I was there. I was there with them. I was there with them. You know, and they're like, okay, so you're not coming in, and I was like, no, I don't think I don't think I can. And they're like, okay, all right, bye. And then I was like, I am lying, but I don't think they gave me the courtesy, a good enough courtesy of, if I was telling the truth, I would be offended actually by their response. So I called, I called back up, and I said, sorry, I don't think, you were being like empathetic enough. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I think it's pretty sad what I've had to go through. And they were like, okay, like I just need to know if you're coming in or not, man. And I'm like, well, I don't. And then I said, I don't think you believe me. I don't think you believe me, actually. And they're like, well, this isn't the first time. So look, if you're saying it happened, whatever, we'll believe you. It happened. I'm like, okay, great. Hung up the phone. Felt much better. Didn't last very long. Didn't last very long there. But that's the kind of thing, I'm there. I was, having the hot flushes, achy, prickly feeling all over my body, and nauseous, and having weird, like I felt like it detached from my body, like I was floating through space. And Terry's like, so what's wrong with What? Firstly, she's just like, so you're out, like you're out of commission today, and I was like, oh yeah, I think so, But that was a real voice I was doing, it wasn't the fake voice. I think so. Yeah, I think I'm out of commission. She's like, okay. And she left, because now I got to figure out all this shit with the kids and all this stuff, And came back in, dropped in painkillers, glass of water, bit nicer. I want to be like, yeah, thanks very much. I want to say, the lady you had in earlier wasn't great. All right, her bedside manner wasn't great. Whoever you are, love you. You look cracking, by the way. You look cracking. I know, love, I know you can't say anything anymore these days, but you look cracking. I know, it's fine. I'm talking to my wife in this made-up scenario. But yeah, and then later on I was feeling a lot better. It was gone quite quick. Kind of lingered a little bit and kind of small. It's almost like I'm having like, what's it called when you do acid and then it comes back, flashbacks or whatever. So it's been a bit residual. Not really been sleeping the best. And but anyway, after the day, I was like saying to Terry, she was like, so what, like, because it's kind of like, what, here we go. What are we all going to have now? She goes, can you describe the symptoms? I says, yeah, Homer's bald and Marge has blue hair. Huh? Who? Can you describe the symptoms? I says, symptoms. I'm a bit fucking all over the place. Yeah, no, I was like, yeah, I kind of felt like detached from reality, and I was having really weird, like, kind of scary kind of visions. And she's like, what? Like, is it a tummy thing? So that's what she gets, marrying a professional fucking spacer. Marrying a spacer. Marrying someone that could have been Mikey Graham, but carved his own path. Eh? Yeah? Mikey Graham from Boyzone, by the way. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you even know Love Me for a Reason? Let the reason be love. Yeah, so I'm still kind of, and I'm getting used to this car, liking it though, like driving a saloon car. I feel like a cowboy. Yeah, had a good gig there during the week. I was fucking loving it. I did comedy at the OTT comedy night, OTT, Over the Top Wrestling, Ireland's premier wrestling federation. And I'd never been, and I wanted to go for a long time. Also went then on Saturday, and it was fucking banging. It was great crack. I mean, it's funny, funny seeing lads just shouting absolute dog's abuse at grown men for entertaining them, for risking their bodies. I want to thank you all for all you've done to your bodies. Still real to me, damn it. And it was great. I was loving it. I was drinking loads of Copperbergs, which Don't know. It was a warm day. I was tucking into the Copperbergs. But I tell you, the gig was great. I was on with wrestlers Dan Barry and, of course, Nick Nemeth, also known as Dolph Ziggler. Maybe you heard of him. Not Zig Ziglar, the Texas lifestyle guru that I'm always talking about. Dolph Ziggler. Probably the best seller in the biz. You do a wrestling move on him, he'll do a fucking backflip over. Make you look like... the way he falls is like fucking anime. And he was doing comedy at it. Dwayne Dugan as well was there, emceeing the night. Huge wrestling fan. Owen Colgan. Kate Moylan. Very funny sketch comedian. And it was fun. Now, I was warned kind of ahead of time. Like, this is a wrestling crowd. They're technically here to see comedy, but it's a wrestling crowd. And boy, were they a wrestling crowd. It was actually a lot of crack. They would boo something they didn't like. And if you to get them on side, you would pander to them. And it was in a very obvious, beautifully binary way, Like, I was using a lot of wrestling terminology. I was saying that it was in Lost Lane on Grafton Street, and I was like, it's a very proud history here, because a mate of mine actually gave someone in real life a Stone Cold Stunner outside of Burger King there, at the bottom of Grafton Street. And then I was saying, the guy he gave it to, was an absolute head the ball. And after he took the stunner, absolutely no-sold it, as in, like, got straight up, didn't lay on the ground like you're supposed to do in wrestling. And when I said the kind of no-sold, they were kind of like, okay, gets the terminology, that's good. And then I had a perfect joke. You get a perfect joke? I will never be able to really use it again. It's not applicable to any other situation than this. So in wrestling, there's a thing that when you fall, and like to make it look like you hurt yourself, you land flat on your back, And in general, it's called taking a bump, right? You might have heard me talking about when The Rock was wrestling recently. As a guy in his 50s, taking serious bumps, like, it hurts. Falling flat on your back, getting flung around there, getting hit. It's taking a bump. And so, because we were in Lost Lane, it used to be Lily's Bordello. I was like, a lot of people don't even realize that in this very building, there's a proud Irish wrestling history. Because this used to be Lily's Bordello. And I don't think there's any other room in Ireland that has seen more sweaty men taking bumps than right here. I was implying cocaine. It was perfect. It is a perfect double up on that joke, and they liked it. But how do I say it again? So I was doing comedy in a place that used to be Lily's Bordello. Yeah, maybe I have. Maybe I've just fucking given away a good joke there. Whatever. Come see me live. Hey, we'll have a great time. You can hear me talk about other jokes I've done. Instead of just doing my act, I'm going to tell you about, which is essentially me doing jokes I've done. I'm going to just tell you about other jokes I've done. Maybe that's a perfect framework to really alienate the audience. But it was a lot of fun. And then I got to do my wrestling heel character. Of course, I've told you about my babyface, my good guy character, Bobby Slams. Finishing move is the Dirty Protest. So this was kind of the opposite of that. This is a bad guy who doesn't know that Ireland's not part of the UK. Now, as it turned out, actually on the Saturday, that's kind of the gimmick of professional wrestler Trent Seven, who was just basically calling the title, the OTT title, the British World Heavyweight title, the British Championship. And everyone's like, boo! And then he was like, I want to show you, that there's still hope for you Brits. People were fucking frothing. Now, I didn't realize that was part of his gimmick, so I probably won't do this character again. But, I was going out there at the comedy gig before, actually. I went to go see the OTT. And I was like, how are we doing Southern Ireland? How are we doing? I have to say, Southern Ireland is probably my 6th favourite country in the UK. It goes England, the Isle of Man, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and then Southern Ireland in 6th. It's true what they say. You really have to understand the Irish. You really got to visit the pubs. So we had a wonderful time in Weatherspoons there. But it's true what they say as well. You really haven't had a pint of forged black stout unless you've had it in Dublin. People were, boo! Boo! It was great. I was loving it. And it was so simple. And what also I thought was interesting in the difference between a comedy crowd and a wrestling crowd is it doesn't take much for a wrestling crowd to shout that they fucking hate something. And a comedy audience, you'd have to either be really shit-faced. You could be there stone cold sober at a wrestling gig and be like, God! You know? It's just standards, just lingo, you know? But at a comedy gig, it would take a lot. Someone who would do that would be looking for a bit of chat, would be looking for a bit of chase. So you might get chatting to them. And hopefully, embarrass them ideally in an ideal situation. Or maybe, or maybe help them out. You know what I mean? Obviously, this is a cry for help. Maybe I can help you out here today, sir. Look, can we pause the comedy for a second? This is a man speaking to another man here. Are you doing all right, champ? Are you doing okay? Yeah? Who's that you're with? Is that your mother? Your bird? I'm so sorry, bro. You know? You'd have a bit of that. But with a wrestling crowd, what I thought was interesting is, like, someone was like, what they even say? I think I was talking about a bisexual person that I know, and then someone just shouted, "I'm a lesbian," and I was like, "You're a lesbian?" Complete silence, you know. And then I think someone was. I think maybe this is just what I hear all the time in my head, but I think I heard someone say "four eyes," you know. I think that's what I hear all the time in my head, so it's difficult to tell whether that was inside or outside my head. But I was like, "Oh, you shout four eyes." Again, deathly silent. And then I was like, "Oh, fuck, I forget. Like, this is a wrestling crowd. It's not like if you're at a big, pay-per-view and someone in the front row just shouts, Cena sucks. Hey, John Cena, you suck. John Cena doesn't say, sorry, hang on for a second. Who said Cena sucks there? And then get in a conversation. That's not what happens. It's a one-way street. You take the abuse and you either magnify it if it's, if you're the baddie, or, take the cheer, whatever. You just roll with it. So I thought that was very interesting. That you would, the more abusive audience, in the best way possible, I have to say, I love wrestling audiences. Like, I love being at a wrestling event. Now, I've only kind of gone to a few in the UK, and then, the odd WWE ones that come along. But, I love it. It's part of it. Just fucking shouting shit out. It's like being just constantly just drunk hecklers, and it's encouraged, But you would expect, that someone who would shout that out would be looking for a bit of scrap, and it's the exact opposite. It's just like suck my asshole right back up. Can't believe he's talking back to me, Not calling anyone a coward. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm really leaning into this heel character. You fucking cowards. Why don't you come talk to me afterwards? Much bigger bearded men. Huh? And I'll show you what for. The news of my victories. Absolutely fucking slaughtered my older brother. Mario Kart. And it was a long time coming, because I remember one time playing Mario Kart with him, and before we started, I said, Andy, I'm going to eat your dust. And I was like, oh, no way. And he fucking still brings it up. Well, let me tell you, he was the one picking dust out of his teeth. He would, beat him in a fucking Mario Kart Grand Prix. About 7 points more than him. I embarrassed him in front of his kid. And my young fellow was not that impressed. He was just desperate to play again. It's hard having video games be so important in my life, and having been so important in my life, that I hide this. I hide it from my young fellow. Like, he doesn't even know really that we have games consoles in the gaff. Because I know what'll happen. I don't read so good, and I blame video games. Now, I game real good, and I blame video games, I've had otherworldly experiences. I visited worlds, the first girl I kissed was probably Tifa or Ares, in Final Fantasy VII. The first boob I saw was Lara Croft's, after putting in about 4 hours worth of action replay codes to see her boobs in Tomb Raider. Took ages and they didn't look good, right? So I have all my lived experiences in video games. But like, kids will be reading books and all, do you know what I mean? And he's a voracious reader, or at least loves plopping a book next to someone and be like, "Oh, read that for me there." So it's tough but I just know. Do you know what I mean? I just know. Not casting any shade though, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, video games are for kids. It's a it's a kid's entertainment system, you know? And, for as long as I can remember, I've been a gamer. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? From Game Boy. Remember playing Sega Mega Drive? We got it for Christmas. We were playing Sonic. My dad being like, games, games are going to be faster than this. We laughed in his face. Shut up, old man. What do you know about this? Dad, this is the fastest shit that's ever happened. All right? Nothing is faster than Sonic 1. It's 1991, Dad. Get with the fucking times, will you? Jesus Christ. And I was wrong. Sure, Wipeout came out 4 years after that. Do you know what I mean? And nothing would ever be faster than that. Now I'm playing fucking Gran Turismo 7 in VR. Anyway, just saying. So games are ubiquitous, right? They're toys. Kids play them. Great. See a gamer kid, I got number of respect for you. I'm nervous of it though, do you know what I mean? Because I feel like it will make all other forms of entertainment obsolete. So I'll be keen to hear from, if you're a parent, how you kind of manage that. Because I can't wait. Like, I've games already downloaded. I got Lego Star Wars, the whole thing, the whole Skywalker saga. He loves Lego and he loves Star Wars, and I know he's going to love video games. And I can't wait to play them with him. But I know, like, there is nothing in that kip of a house, and I love this house, that is going to come close to how perfectly entertaining. Collecting all the Lego figs? You joke me? Playing as every Star Wars character? It's funny. The graphics are incredible. You kidding me, mate? And then what? I'm going to come out with, green eggs and ham. You can wipe his ass with green eggs and ham after we start playing Lego Star Wars. Are you kidding me? Right now he's like, oh, that's funny. Look at the Grinch. Look at his book that has 100 animal facts in it. I don't give a fucking shit how fast a cheetah is. All I give a shit about is whether I can access Ki-Adi-Mundi. Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi is the only one I'm missing. Big long head fucker. In the Jedi Council. You know the lad. The long head. Yeah? Darth Maul. Are you telling me him finding out that your man does like green eggs and ham and does like them Sam I Am is going to equate unlocking Darth Maul in that game? Are you kidding me? You messing. And then you got Lego Avengers. And Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk and he actually gets bigger. And there's a class animation for it. And all of New York is there. You can just drive around. It's like GTA. Like nothing's going to come close. And that's not even getting into like games like Red Dead around like that. I mean, me and my two brothers were talking about Red Dead for ages over the weekend. Just fucking talking about our horses. Like, it's it's important. So I would love to hear how you do it properly without making, because I remember getting skinny jeans, right? And I made all other jeans. Not only did I make all other jeans obsolete, but then I hated the jeans. I hated the other jeans, the baggy jeans. And I felt like a muppet. I felt like a loser, not in the skinny jeans. So, like, I don't want that same effect. Like, fuck your book. Do you know what I mean? I could give a shit. I literally had this thought. I was awake in bed last night, thinking, like, I need to, like, because kids will do what you say, right? And then, whatever the 2% is what you say, and then the 98% is what they see. And I'm still like 37 playing with toys, I have a secret Luke Skywalker up under my bed. Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing suit. trying to get all, eventually, the Star Wars Black Series figures, all of them from Empire Strikes Back, my favorite Star Wars movie. So I thought that'd be good, getting X-Wing suit Luke. He gets off, he's there with his little blaster on Dagobah, looking for Yoda. It's a look. I have that hidden. I have a Rock and Mankind, like, double pack up there. I'm hiding these toys from him. So I do not want to just create something in my own image. Do you know what I mean? All these distractions, beautiful distractions, not distractions, hobbies, passions of Star Wars and wrestling and superheroes. Like, that's just ubiquitous now. I feel like I'm carving out those deep IP grooves a little bit too young. He's 4. So I was awake in bed thinking, fuck, I think I need to pretend like I'm mad at a fucking rugby now. Just to balance it out, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, like, he wouldn't have a hope otherwise. Was he going to, watching the Olympics, would he have any desire to become an Olympic gymnast? Now, he'd be good at it. He's a good little jumper. Midori's very fast. But is that going to compare? And I'm worried I'm putting too much on this in terms of like a bonding thing that I have with him, and I might not have the same kind of interests with her. I always thought I wanted to create someone in my own image. Ever since I saw Aladdin, I wanted little Abu to have the same clothes as me and the same interests, stealing, eating dry bread, whatever Aladdin Abu to be getting up to. I always wanted to have a little Abu. I think I always wanted to have kids, to be honest. I was always, cuddling things and treating Buster Bunny or Gizmo as my son, Never really confronted it. So now that I'm here, I'm like, no, this is not fair. This isn't fair. Now, is it fair that, the lads who are Man United fans absolutely drill that desire and love into their kids? Is it not kind of the same thing, to be honest? Except better. My thing, by the way. Not your Man United thing, my thing. But yeah, I was thinking, shit, I think I need to fake interests and have them on so that it's not so weighted, not so loaded in my favour. Because that shit'll come anyway. It doesn't need me. It doesn't need me to be fucking telling them that, whatever, Gambit is class. Or that, telling them cool Wolverine stories. Like, you'll find that shit anyway. It's so ubiquitous in the culture. It's everywhere. So, like, I feel like I now need to start making up fake shit that I'm into. Like rugby. Like, I'm not... Football, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't want them going to school just, with an arsenal of... with like mostly just an encyclopedic arsenal of Dungeons and Dragons monsters and Star Wars and Marvel characters. You figure that apart from the Dungeons and Dragons, you pick that shit up pretty quick. Be first day in class, and then some lad will be talking about, no, this is class, you should see this, and then immediately come home, that's his new obsession. That's what happens. You find out about something. Guess what? Pokemon's my life now. I will die for Charizard. That's what happens. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't want it so weighed in my favor. But I also, I also want to share these things that I think are really cool. I'm like, no shit, they're cool. Like wrestling, watching the wrestling. Tell you what else being a parent's ruined for me. It's wrestling. I was at that wrestling event, and I face value. It's just like, here, good guy, bad guy. Want good guy to win. Good guy beat bad guy. Oh, look, two big guys bashing. Oh, look, two big guys, big muscles jumping across the ring and smashing into each other. Class. It is class. But I was there and looking at the kids just watching these wrestlers and getting so into it. And their mouths, their jaws on the floor, seeing lads do like a shooting star press from the top turnbuckle. That's a backflip moving forwards. Or a 540 splash, spinning around twice and coming down. springboarding off the ropes, and they're just watching this, and their mouths are agape. And I'm like, fuck. And I cried. Saw 4 kids just looking in wonder. And there was one kid, one of the wrestlers got out of the ring, and he just stood beside the wrestler, and he was just so, like, shook from just being so close to his hero. And it made me, I cried 4 times. And it was like, we were only there like 20 minutes. And just seeing the wonder. I'm broken. I'm destroyed. I'm a broken man. I've always been emotional, but it's there's no putting the cork back on the bottle. When you see and you appreciate innocence, it ruins everything. But yeah, now hopefully we'll go to the old wrestling shows. And it's funny, I remember we were trying to get Sonny into he actually was like it. Other kids were pushing around these kind of like strollers and stuff like that, or things that look like fire trucks, and he wanted to push around a pram. Me and Terry were like, that's class, brilliant, look at this. Gender fluid, class. Or whatever, gay, whatever, this is class. This isn't gender normative. And then, he's just such a boy. And then we were playing with Macho Man out in the back garden, and Indy's like, Indy starts pointing at his dick, because he's still got a bulge on him. Still got a piece. This small little, 8-centimeter figure. Still got a bulge. And she was pointing at it, being like, what the hell? And she goes, a poo. Poo. And I was like, oh, does he have a poo? And she goes, yes. And I was like, oh, do we need to change his nappy? She goes, yes. So I took out made like a bit of, like a T shape with masking tape. Kind of lay Macho Man down the masking tape and then just put a new nappy on him. And I put the nappy on and starts kissing his butt. She's like, oh. No, I don't do that. Don't know where she's getting that shit from. But, and I was like, we need to get this child a dolly. And I wasn't pushing any traditionally girl shit on her. Terry brought a dress down. She wanted to change a dress. She ran across the room like, dress! Like we had her dressed just in his clobber for like 2 years. Or a year and a half. Just all the hand-me-downs. We just had tracksuits for him. As soon as she saw a dress, that was it. Like I didn't push any of that on her. She's like always looking just to care after things. Likes to look at unicorns. I haven't told her unicorns are class. Like she's not, and she hasn't necessarily been around other people. It's insane. It's insane. Yes, gender is a social construct mostly, but there's also mad shit going on there on a genetic level that I don't fully understand. That a lot of the fat cats in that are flogging plastic to us, you know what I mean? All the fat cats that are selling us toys and in charge of this big, massive capitalist machine know something deep down, that there's something on a genetic level that just draws a woman to a unicorn, and I don't understand it. But it also is like, she might play with wrestling figures now, but she's going to eventually realize that that is his hog, and he isn't a baby. That's Macho Man Randy Savage, and so yeah, I suppose I'll need to have some shared interests there. She'll probably be shiting on about Brat Summer or whatever like that, and I'll still be like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. And people keep trying to... few people have been talking to me about Brat Summer with such enthusiasm. And I'm like, mate, it's like it's like someone telling me an amazing hat-trick that Haaland scored. And I'm like, I'm not a City fan, man. Just stop it. Do you know what I mean? Stop talking about it. I'm not a Charlie XCX fan. There's an expectation with some things. Like, know your audience. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, There's an expectation with some things that, like, that's in the monoculture now. That somehow Brat Summer is now in the monoculture. And I'm like, well, it's not. Stop pushing it. Like, how soon... is it... Well, obviously the summer's almost coming to an end, but, like, is it 2 months away where Brat Summer is Gangnam Style? Gangnam Style was everything. Like how soon, like, you know, we know the natural, everyone's like, this is it now. It's all brat summer. And I'm like, next summer, if I say brat, you know, next summer when I say brat summer, you're going to be like, oh yeah, remember that? But you're trying to like get me fucking brat summer pilled right now, pushing this shit on me. I don't support City, bro. So, does that make any sense? Hopefully it does. Look, hope you're having a great brat summer, by the way. It's meant to be pissing down for the next couple of days, but look, if you're a brat, I don't fucking know. Here, look, don't support City, bro. But listen, thanks very much for listening to this podcast. Thank you very much for allowing this to be my truth and not singing in Boyzone, even though I could have. I have a good voice. And look after each other and look after me. All the best. Bye-bye.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.